Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie one for the lake fishermen or the warm water fishermen that are out there. And this is going to be a Chartreuse Crappie jig. The jig I'm going to use, I picked these up at Walmart. This is Lucky Strike Crappie Magic. They are 1/16 ounce jig heads. And this is not too heavy to cast with your fly rod. And at the same time, you can put them on a spinning rod if you wanted. We're going to take our jig, and we see we have that, and that's to that little spear there, if you want to call it that. That little barb there is for holding your tube bait on there. So I'm going to just take my nail clippers and I'm going to just clip that right off so we don't have a lump to deal with. Just take that off. We're going to put that in our vise, tighten that up. This is a pretty easy fly. I'm going to use this is some heavy chartreuse thread, and we're going to start behind our molded jig head. We're going to come back at maybe about 4 mils. We're going to put the thread at the point of the hook, and I can't pull to break that off, it's too thick. We're going to start by putting some flash in there, and I'm going to use Gartside Secret stuff, and this is chartreuse. And if you tie a lot of chartreuse jigs and whatnot, you should go to jackgartside.com and get yourself some chartreuse. He also has black, a peach color or a salmon color. He has pink. And of course he has the olive, peacock, and pearl. So I'm going to just take these. These strands are probably about 8 inches long. It says on the package they're about 8 inches. So I'm just going to take a clump of them. We're going to tie them in. I'm kind of holding them to my side there a bit. We're going to bring that around the back side, bring it around, and then I could go ahead and trim these off. Just break them off to the size you want. And the stuff I break off, I'm going to add back in there. Get it a little bit thicker on there. Pull the front stuff back. And you can adjust to the amount that you actually want on there. And that looks pretty good. That's possibly, if I roll it together, it's probably like the size of a pencil tip. And then you're going to drop some on your table. Whenever you're using GSS, try to keep your table clean, because the stuff that you drop off, you simply take that. I'm going to add just another little pinch to it, and I gather that together, and then you can dub it onto your thread. And we're going to bring this up. I'm going to put most of it right there behind that molded lead section. You can actually take it up onto the molded lead section if you'd like. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. Just pinch off a pinch out of the bag, and you're going to see that there's going to be quite a bit of it falling off and stuff. Like I said, just pick it up from the table. You can kind of wet your fingers, and you'll get that, and then go ahead and dub the rest of that on. There we go. Now I'm onto the molded section there pretty good. Tighten that in there a little bit. And this is a really easy little jig that we got here. Now I'm going to take a Chartreuse Hackle. It's just a strung hackle. And I'm going to leave some of that fluff on there. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to pull this off the back. Pull a little bit of fluff off the back. And we end up with this. Now I'm going to go to the front. And this feather is a little bit bent up there, twisted. But I'm going to stand them up, and we're going to tie it in by the tip, trying to get the concave side to the shank. You can take that front and get a little bit of, you can take that front and fold it over and put a wrap or two on it, and then move your thread right up to the ball. Now we could go ahead and take that tip off. It just broke right off for me nicely. Now we're going to stroke the feathers towards the rear as we're going. It's actually a nice little crappie jig right here. It's got flash, it's got some thickness or stiffness, but then it's going to have that fluff, that breathing fluff. It's going to look like it's breathing in the water. I'm going to put my hackle pliers on there. And again, stroke everything towards the rear as you're going. Now when I get to the fluff part, and I got 1, 2 wraps on there. Take my thread, and we're going to secure this. I'm going to put a couple of wraps before I let go of my hackle pliers. Keeping that thread tight. And remember, it is a heavy thread, so you could keep that tight. Going to put a wrap or 2 in front, and you're actually going to make a little bit of a collar there. And we'll go ahead and remove that. We're going to go ahead and remove that stem. Here, a couple of cleanup wraps there. Then we're going to take our whip finish. Put the hook over the thread. We're going around the camel hump. Bring it back towards the hook. We're going to pick it up. We have the X, slide the hook down to the jig. Take the camel hump out. Now don't pull it tight yet. We're going to put our head cement on the thread before we pull it. Because there's so much fluff in there, good chance of getting it on the feather, the head cement on the feather. I put it on the left side as I'm looking at it. I put the head cement on the left side of the thread. And we'll pull it in, pull the hook out, and it is glued. Take your poke and snip so you don't cut off anything you don't want to. And here we have a nice little Chartreuse crappie jig. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors and let them know I sent you. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase any flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see it, just send me a message and we'll figure things out. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.